Don't want that, do we? Right, we've got good news and we've got bad news. Which do you want first? Good news, right, okay, well, we're out right on the tail end of Storm Betty. So set out this afternoon, early this afternoon, pouring down with rain. Just a local one, not far from Carrick Castle on the peninsula, where you've seen me before. And we're out in the Fjällräven Abisco Lite 2, because it's quite windy and it's whistling up off this loch. And there's still quite a bit of rain left still to come, so felt that I needed this to keep me safe. Steady walk out, not fantastic, quite a wet jobby, and putting it up in the wind was quite a challenge, even though I did put it up the wrong way around, so a bit of faffing about, but other than that, all good. All right, yeah, the bad news. Well, the bad news is, for me, I think my arthritis is playing back up in my left foot again, so I'm not having a right good time, and that's why I've not come that far. So it looks like another return to the doctors next week, and then maybe we can make a move towards seeing if we can get some solution to it. But it's not good. It's been painful now for a couple of weeks, and well, pardon me, I've got a cycling event next week, so that's the bad news. Nice to be out again in the Fjällräven, and it kind of, you know, the weather's not been fantastic, has it, just recently, and I thought, what better tent to bring out right at the end of this storm than this bomb-proof thing. It's brilliant, and I've only been out probably in about half a dozen times, and it just is a lovely reminder of why I like it. And getting it ready for winter as well. And do you know why we like winter? Because there's far less beasties around here. Do you want me to show you a beast that's just let itself in? Have a look at this. Lovely, yeah? I've had the tent probably up about 45 minutes, and I must have flicked around about 6 of them off the outside of the inner, and they keep creeping in. I've got my boots covered up and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know what, unless it's a rock hard frost, there's always going to be slugs coming in. Ugh. I'm kind of a big fan of cold weather camping. It works for me perfectly on many counts, not least because there's a bucket load less beasties kicking around. There's fewer ticks, there's no midge. If it's cold enough, you won't see many slugs, especially after a dry frosty spell. So it kind of, and I don't mind being in my tent. I mean, I've come out a little bit earlier this afternoon. I mean, it's 3 o'clock now, and I'm happy being in here. The forecast is looking to improve once this wind's blown over, and so with a bit of luck, it could be a nice evening, and then a reasonably dry night, and then the first couple hours of tomorrow morning are looking good as well. So an early night and then an early rise, and with a bit of luck, it should be dry on both ends. So a bit of news, a couple of new purchases. I've got myself a new pillow because my other one was kind of falling apart, and I haven't thrown it away or anything like that. Mrs. Boardman has stitched all the side of it up where it was going, that kind of stuff, and we've gifted that to Big Pete, and he's going to use it on his next tour. He's going to be doing the Southern Upland Way, so hopefully that's a success for him. And then do you remember the well, I bought the X-Mid Pro, and that must have, gosh, how long did that take to come? 10 weeks, something like that. Well, I ordered some Z-Flick poles. They're like a carbon pole, and they're perfect for bike packing because they're very light, and they're quite small, smaller than the walking poles. And I ordered them last Wednesday. It's now Saturday, and they actually turned up this morning. So whilst the actual tent took around about 10 weeks to come, the poles took 3 days from Canada. I was absolutely staggered when Colin dropped them through my post box this morning. So it just goes to show it can be done. And I've got another thing coming as well, and I'm looking forward to getting this as well. This is coming from China, but more about that when it comes. Right, drink it and a bit more music. See you soon. Had a pot of noodles, which was very tasty, just to keep things ticking over, and it's not a lot happened really. Wind's still up, and the odd shower scudding through, but all's well. Evicted a couple more slugs as well, which is also good. Other things I'm looking forward to about winter as well. I mean, I like the cool temperatures because I like hiking and into the hills and into the glens and all that kind of thing in cold temperatures, because I do hike quite hot. But frosty nights, starry nights, shooting stars and the aurora, absolutely fantastic. Downsides, pack weight has to be the worst. You've got all your units, like the big tents, you've got the big bags, you've got extra clothing as well, probably a little extra food to keep the engine going. So pack weight is a downside, but if you choose your routes carefully and keep your ambitions manageable, then it's all doable, isn't it? Some people don't like the cold temperatures, some people don't like the freezing cold weather, but and you know, nor are they in a position where they can go out and, you know, buy what is probably quite a lot of expensive gear, and not getting any cheaper, by the way. So they may want to do winter camps, but just, you know, don't have the resources to protect themselves, which I completely understand. And I don't particularly like snow. It's wet and miserable and slippy, and frost, yes, no snow. And one other negative for winter camping is that red wine's no good in cold temperatures. You know, it don't taste right. I mean, I have actually drank wine and it's almost been crystallised, and I don't like bringing white wine with me, that's not the same. So good for cold beer though. Let's accentuate the positive, shall we? So there you have it. Cold temperatures, starry skies, good for beer, good for stargazing, good for the aurora, and good for boardman. We're all on winter. And while that's cooling, a perfect temperatured Shiraz, not a frosty one. Cheers. It's really fun. The sheep are getting closer and closer to the tent. I think they can smell the chili con carne. Their heads keep going up into the air. They're either looking at the tent or they can smell the food.
You're a liar. You took it out of rivers and burns. I know you did. You've told me yourself that you're convinced you've got some sort of parasite living in you because you kept drinking out of puddles.
Right, I'm getting tired now, so I'm going to lay down. It's still blowing a blow it, and it's raining on and off, and I'm still entertaining myself by flicking slugs off my fly, listening to Journey Godly. So fingers crossed the weather forecasters have got it right in the morning. It's okay, because it'd be nice to get out about and have a proper look around. And other than that, well, I'll see you tomorrow morning. See you the new. Good morning. 6 o'clock. It's not raining, but it has rained again heavily through the night. We had a huge problem with slugs last night. My God, I was flicking them off the inside of my tent, not inside where I was sleeping, but all over the outside of the inner, which was very unpleasant. And then I woke up this morning about 5:30, and there were over 10 of them all over the tent, and I couldn't lay there and ignore them. So I've been up removing slugs. This is a very, very wet Scottish summer, so these things are a problem. But it's nice now, and there's a little breeze. There were a few midges around this morning when I first come out, but they're all right now. I've just been nibbled around the back of my head. So I'm going to disassemble this tent now and remove the rest of these critters, and then get packed up, and then I'll have a mooch back to my car. So nice to get out. It was a very long and restful afternoon and evening, and just listening to the radio and a couple of podcasts. I think it was that Journey Godly comedian, and she was very funny. And then an early night, very rainy through the night, woke me a few times. But really, last night just exemplified, that's the word I'm going to look at. It was perfect example of why I'm looking forward to colder temperatures. Slugs everywhere overnight and this morning, midges as soon as I opened the tent door, and then had to evict around about 4 earwigs as well. And it's, you know, it doesn't stop you from camping, but when you've had such a wet summer as we have up here and probably elsewhere in the UK, these are just some of the things that you've got to deal with, haven't you? But all good, fully restored. I don't know what time it is, 25 to 7, so I'll be back home in an hour, get some breakfast, a couple of cups of coffee, and then we can prepare for the Ladies World Cup final, which I'm looking forward to watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Very quick one, and all things being well with my foot, the next time you'll see us will be on the Caterham Dirt Dash bike packy overnight jobby. Thanks for watching. See you soon.